Dear Mrs. Consul General, dear Mr. President, dear guests, it's a pleasure for me to be able to share my thoughts about digitalization in healthcare today with all of you. And I agree with Mrs. Consul General, maybe we are not exactly catching what's happening with the new generation, but I think we have to facilitate because time is also passing very fast in the digital era. So today I want to share with you, maybe I think it's a very nice connection with the previous speaker, dear Mr. Professor. We were able to see what's happening on the high science in terms of digital data or genomics. I will try to bring you to the real life in terms of what is the impact of all this to healthcare in terms of industrial development or in terms of the patient care and the patient journey. So, okay. So healthcare is actually, it's a journey of life. So when we talk about healthcare, we are talking about our whole life journey. And with the extension of human life, thanks to all science, now we are able to really segregate this life journey to very clear pieces, and more or less we are able to go through this cycle independent from much genomics maybe. We have the chance to go through this in a nice perspective, at least majority of us. So when we say the journey, of course, each of us want to extend the healthy part of the journey as much as possible. Then prevention of the diseases, especially the chronic ones, becomes more important. And for sure, there is a moment in our lives that we meet with a diagnosis, that moment of truth. And at that moment, what comes in stage? The treatment and, of course, the care. So this is a very, very simple way of describing our lives. So in each of those segments, I believe there is something to do about the digitalization of health. So this is why I believe there is a huge potential in terms of healthcare, giving more attention to that. What is the truth or what is the reality today in terms of capturing digitalization among other industries? We are not at the best place, as you see. When you look at digitalization in different sectors, consumer sector is at the highest level, and then you see businesses, in general, business management, and then you see security, safety, you see education, but of course education is even not at the point it has to be, but healthcare is just a bit better than the state governmental organizations in terms of digitalization. This is clearly showing what we have to do. And I don't think this is much different in Turkey compared to the other countries or world standards. Maybe in US we can see a different proportion, but I don't think comparably they are also doing better than the other industries. And why? Why healthcare is not digitalized enough? There are certain barriers, and I believe most of them are also in our minds. So this is a way of conventional thinking. Why we are not able to digitalize more? First of all, we have the concerns about privacy, as Mr. Professor also mentioned. The data privacy and the concerns that our very personal information will be spread around. This is one of the main concerns. The second thing is of course, economical part of it. Why should we do that? What is the economical benefit of that? And the next one could be connectivity problems, and maybe this is a more technical thing. And you see all kinds of different reasons we can put behind. And maybe I can even add more the healthcare industry in general is a very regulated industry. You have the Ministry of Health legislations, you have a lot of regulations around the business. So this is one of other concerns, especially in my own practice, when I'm trying to challenge our teams in terms of digitalization. The usual answer I get is, we have the regulations, we cannot touch this, we cannot do that. And I believe this is, again, the way we are very conservatively seeing the new digitalization era. Okay, but there is still hope. When you compare what has happened in 2010 and what has happened in 2014 in terms of the digitalization, you see very well that the access to electronic medical information has improved very, very significantly, which is the beginning of everything. When you have the data, you have the chance to analyze it, turn it to information, and then use this information for useful purposes. And in all parameters, which were far lacking in 2010, in just 4 years, we see certain improvements. But is that enough? I don't think so. So today, when we talk about the digitalization in healthcare, what do we mean? For sure, telemedicine, telehealth, which is the remote control of your health parameters. This is the probably most common area we are using digitalization. The augmented virtual reality solutions, especially in terms of training purposes, we are using them in medical schools, in the sales marketing organizations of healthcare industry. We are using augmented reality to a certain extent. Home care, the life expands, people gets more and more elder, and with elderly people taking the majorities in the society, you need more care and you need this home. Because of that, there is a real important development in home care area and combining it with digital tools. Mobile apps, like in everything, there is the significant improvement there. Genomics, as you already listened to. Artificial intelligence, especially in terms of diagnostics. You have billions of patient data accumulated in different countries all around the world, and this gives you a huge potential to get the most accurate diagnosis for each and every disease if you are able to use this data appropriately. And wearable biosensors, etc., and robotic surgery, you have been, I'm sure, hearing, maybe some of us even experienced that. These are very, very key areas. And 3D printing, that's a topic all its own. That's a huge area that the world is going towards, like genomics. So yes, there are many areas we are using digital health solutions, but there is room to go. And here, again, you see the development. When you look at 2016, top 10 digital health transactions, you see at least 2, around 3 major acquisitions in this area. And you see that it's not only health industry doing the acquisitions. And you see Google, for example. You see all different investors coming in the digital health investment point. And these are 500 million and above. And I'm sure we will see these more and more. And again, one question I'm asking our team: how do you think your business will be if Google just jumped in your business? Okay? So today, if it wasn't Eczacıbaşı doing healthcare business, but Google starts it from scratch. So how would they do it? That's a real big challenge. They would do it totally differently, I'm sure. So the barriers of conventional healthcare thinking, I think this is something we have to challenge more and more. And again, the growth expectation in the global setting, we are expecting the healthcare, mobile health market to grow up to 21.5 billion. And again, in Europe, this will go up to 7.1 billion. So this is big, this is real. So what are we doing in Turkey? I will just share a few of those, but you have the details. One of this luckily belongs to Eczacıbaşı, us. I cannot say that this is a real big success yet, but we are insisting on it, because I don't think it is only how you are implementing the digital health in your business model, but it's also educating the consumer. It's also educating the patient. So you have to increase the awareness and create the need in the customer side. So sağlık takipçim, or your health follower in English, is a digital solution that we are using in our healthcare company, which is basically following the patient from remote in terms of every criteria he has to be followed, or she has to be followed. This is designed according to the problems this person has, and this has the possibility to create all the data and to collect it in the data bank in a healthcare center, and the patient's doctor can reach it as much as he needs to. Plus, if there is an emergency condition, if there is a sudden fluctuation in one of those parameters, there is a warning going to the doctor and the nurses, and they are able to call back. If the patient doesn't answer, they call the closest relative so that they can take certain measures, or they can send an ambulance. So all this network is possible. But again, we need to increase the awareness for such a need in Turkey.